This is it, guys. This is the tipping point. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I'm going to tell you how to prepare for the impending civil and world war. And I know that that sounds scary, and I am not trying to fearmonger here, but please stay with me. Today, JD Vance went on record and publicly declared that that ICE officer who shot Renee Good has absolute immunity before an investigation is even complete and they have all of the facts. So you know what else that means? That means he thinks he has immunity and Trump has immunity. He just gave every member of ICE permission to unalive Americans. Let me repeat that. Our vice president of the goddamn United States gave total immunity to ICE, to off Americans. Don't get it twisted. This is state-sanctioned harm. The same shit that happened in 1930s and 1940s Germany. They are telling us that our lives come second to their authority. And here's the part that people might want to hear. If you are actually paying your taxes still, well, you can stop now. Because for the last year, they have taken away our rights, our benefits, our opportunity in the United States, and now they've actually taken away our protection. And our government is co-signing government agencies hunting us down and saying that it is okay. Meanwhile, they want to send $100,000 to each citizen in Greenland while most of us can't even frickin' buy food. We are being destabilized internally while things are escalating with Russia, with China, with Venezuela, with Europe, and more. We have a fucking target on our backs right now, and we're supposed to pretend like this is all normal? Hell no. This is how societies slide into civil conflict, with erosion, with fear, and with unchecked power. And so this is what I'm going to leave you with. We didn't call World War I and World War II those names when they were happening, okay? Let that sink in. 2, you need to stop paying your taxes and you need to keep cash on hand and you need to have things that you can barter. 3, I hate to say it, but you need to be prepared in your homes and you need to know how to protect yourself. So take that for what it's worth. I know that this feels heavy. It is. But if we have learned anything from history, it is that power without accountability always turns on the people. And it is time that we stand up.
What we've done is actually gotten 2.5 million illegal aliens out without any of the really big marquee things that we've been working on. That was just simple willpower and the President of the United States coming in and saying, this is done. I think we're going to see those deportation numbers ramp up as we get more and more people online, working for ICE, going door to door and making sure that if you're an illegal alien, you've got to get out of this country. And if you want to come back, apply through the proper channel.
All right, shalom, 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 shalom. I want to start off by giving all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachak Kodash, double honors to my elders, my apostles, great Muslim, which are the men that rule well, and taught us His truth, peace, blessings, and salutations be to the elect as always. And real quick, man, Jacob's Trouble and Martial Law is the title. I was listening to Elder Apostle Tahar's lesson on it, on this topic. He, one of his recent uploads, and he was going into how basically, he believes what's going on right now in Minnesota is a psyop, which it is. I believe it too, man. And if you have a spiritual eye to see, you can see that everything is set up, everything is clearly a psyop, which is a psychological operation. That's what that stands for. That's what that's short for, a psychological operation. Which pretty much Esau, the so-called white man, wants you people, not just Israel, but Israel is their target, but they want the people in general, everybody, whether it's an Edomite or an Israelite or a heathen, they want the people to be in an uproar. That's why you see the recent shooting in Minnesota, and it's multiple. It wasn't just one. That's the thing. This is a everyday thing. People die every day. People get shot every day. like Cameron said and Paid in Full. N-words get shot every day. You'll be alright, right? And it's very true. Jake and Heathen. People get shot every day. But this specifically made headlines for Esau to try to cause uproars, because really what he wants to do is enact martial law, or he won't, because for brothers that's in the know of the Insurrection Act, He wants people to uprise, and he wants the disorder so that he has an excuse to lock down the country. So he has an excuse to lock down every major city because he can only do so much, you know. He can't lock down people that live in the middle of nowhere because, you know, it's impossible. It's too much land, you know. Because a lot of people overlook the fact, you know, people live in the city and they think that, oh, you know, this is the whole world. But man, people overlook the fact America is a very big country, man. This land mass of America is very big. Okay. So, you know, what Esau really wants, you know, the people to do is to revolt, is they want you, and there's a lot of agents, man, on YouTube. So you have to be cautious of who you're listening to and things like that, cautious of who is influencing you because a lot of these people who are on TikTok who are like, oh, we need to start. The people are on TikTok saying right now that they need to start shooting the police, that they need to start shooting ICE. That's exactly what they want you to do, you know. And I remember when I did the lesson on it, on the shooting that happened in Minnesota to that Edomite lady. You know, they shot America's sweetheart, man, an innocent blonde white woman, right? When I did the lesson, I talked about how people are upset, you know, and it is a little upsetting sometimes because you're like, damn, bro, this dude's getting away with all this shit, and he's killing Israelites. I remember seeing the video where they ran over an Israelite man's leg on purpose, you know, and those things they do, you know, they make you upset in the flesh for a second, but then you remember, hey, no man perish being innocent. These things don't happen for no reason. You know, that was a wicked Israelite, you know, and that was just his part of his judgment. Okay. And whatever else is going to befall him later, you know. So at the end of the day, um, you know, martial law is going to happen because it's prophecy. More than likely, Esau is going to problem reaction solution it. You know, order ab KO. For those that don't know, problem reaction solution. He's going to bring order out of chaos. That's what order. That's what order at a KO means. All right, order out of chaos. So that's what he wants to bring. Um, you know, he's gonna cause the chaos, and there's a lot of agent activity going on, man. There's people, preppers, gray men, fake gray men, real gray men. You know, there's actual people who are giving decent advice on the internet on what to do in that time. There's a lot of people who are bullshitting. There's a lot of people who are agents. You know, a lot of agent activity going on right now, man. You know, Israelites are straight up agents. There's one jig on TikTok talking about, oh, I don't promote violence, but I do promote protection. Like, nigga, you're still promoting to shoot people. You know, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be promoting that. You know, it's not wise because guess what? You're on a list, and I'm gonna bring out some scriptures to touch on that point. You know, um, I don't want to ramble too much, but you know, there's a few things I need to say just before I forget them. I don't want to forget them and then I don't mention them, but there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of agent activity, and what people are doing is exactly what Esau wants you to do. You know, but Esau's tired of you throwing snowballs. He's tired of you throwing rocks. He wants you guys to pick up your guns and shoot. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of idiots on the internet too talking about, oh, this is illegal. You know, ICE can't do this. ICE can't do that. Hey, at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter. We're all under this man's foot. All right. He could do whatever he wants to do. There's, you know, for the most part, you can legally defend yourself. Yes, right now. But once the Insurrection Act is in full effect, there is no due process. There is no warrant signed by the judge. The door-to-door thing, that's prophecy. That's not something that you're going to avoid legally. That's something that the Heavenly Father hath promised to happen. Those are part of his words. That's his prophecies. All right? Them going door to door to sweep and kill, that's in the scriptures. The scriptures say, till the houses be made desolate, right? So this is Jeremiah 30:7. Enough rambling. Let me get the scriptures. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, which Jacob represents the 12 tribes, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. That time of trouble, right? It says, it is even the time of Jacob's trouble. So the trouble is upon the tribes. See, because at the end of the day, Esau wants to do this, not because he wants Edomites in jail and concentration camps. No. At the end of the day, he wants to kill the Israelites, the true Israelites, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's his goal. He's not worried about the heathen. He don't care about Elam. At the end of the day, because who's the face of this whole ICE thing? You know, why aren't they grabbing up illegal Moabites? Because they're are Moabites here illegally. There are Elamites here illegally. Shit, that one Elamite that killed that family, driving the 18-wheeler where he got his CDL illegally, he was here illegally. You know, that happens often. Visa frauds are not uncommon. That's very common. Or people who have an expired visa and no one came to get them, and they just out here working because they got family members that'll let them do certain jobs or things like that, right? The face of the immigration, right? The face of anti-immigration is Issachar, Zebulun, the northern kingdom. Gad done caught some strays because of the way, because some of us look alike, you know? Shit, Benjamin, and Levi, they caught some strays as well out in New York City, right? That's the thing. Jake is the face of it. See, people like to say, "Oh, it's rich versus poor." No, it's not. It's Esau trying to persecute Jacob. I was just a spirit. I was just reading the book of Amos, how Esau perpetually hated Israel and pursued us with the sword. And the scripture says, "Since thou hast not hated blood, blood shall pursue thee." Because Esau, he's out for blood. These ICE agents are killing Israelites. They are sexually assaulting the Israelite women. You know what I mean? These are things. This is Jacob's trouble. This is the reality of it. The reality is that this is prophecy. It says, "But he shall be saved out of it." Yeah, the elect is going to be saved out of it. "There shall no evil happen unto him that feareth the Lord, even in temptation again he will deliver him." That's Sirach 33:1. You know? So the trouble that's up ahead is gonna, hey, we're all gonna be in it, but the elect will be saved out of it. Lord's will, we're a part of that number. We're the hopeful elect, right? It says, "But he shall be saved out of it." That's the elect, the remnant, that sanctuary. They're gonna be delivered out of Jacob's trouble. Lord's will, we're a part of that number, right? Job 24:16. In the dark they dig through houses. And this is Job. Job prophesied a lot about Esau and the wicked, which Esau is the wicked. We always bring out Job 9:24. And the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. That's why it doesn't matter what you people think, which is cool right now because tension is not that high. As we're not to the point where due process is fully thrown out, but at some point we're gonna get there where due process is 100% thrown out the window. Right now, some people are still getting caught up and then getting out, because they proved that they were a legal citizen and the ICE made an illegal arrest. But for the most part, at some point, there's not going to be due process. People over here, oh, print this out and show it to the ICE agents. They show up at your door and da 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 da. Hey, look, at the end of the day, none of that shit is going to save you. Your pistol and your AR is not going to save you. All right. The only thing that can save us is Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. All right. Now, are you wrong for having those things? Absolutely not. Are you wrong for having faith in that? Absolutely. Your faith should not be in your sidearm and your firearms. Your faith needs to be in the Lord. All right. And if you're an Israelite that is watching the content, because I see it on my TikTok feed, Jake on there, oh, you need to strap up and things of that nature. Hey, look, there's nothing wrong with having firearms if it's legal in your state, but there is something wrong with you thinking that that's the way out. That's not the way out. All right, it's not. Those things fail. Ammunition runs out. You're not gonna beat Esau at his own game because guns, that's his world. At the end of the day, that's his world. He is the sword, and he created that. All right, the Lord gave him that talent. He gave us the talent of spirituality. So our way out is spirituality. Okay. In the dark they dig through houses which they had marked for themselves in the daytime. They know not the light. And that's martial law. And in the dark, that's what they're gonna do. There's brothers brought it out, certain color codes for certain people, the government. They know who the preppers are. They know who are the ones with all the canned goods in the bayaf, man. They know who you are, man. They know which one of y'all got the bug out bag and how you have a camper you just bought and put it on a credit card. And they know. So they know who to attack in the dark. They know who they have to catch by surprise because, they know that the majority are compliant and they trust the government and all that shit. But they know that the other percentage, whatever percent is left, right? Uh, they know us, man. They know who we are by name. They know the Israelites. They know that they know your government and your Hebrew name. They have a task force for this shit. I'm trying to tell you, man. The elders always talk about it. They have a task force, man. On us. We just don't know them. We don't know what they look like. But man, they know that you went and bought a Five Guys burger, for lunch today. And they know how much you spent on. They know these things. So, there's no hiding from them. That's why you need Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? It said which they had marked for themselves in the daytime, because they're setting the scope on people. They know which people are going to be compliant, which people are not. I mean, shit, even now, if you've ever been arrested and you were armed or something like that, or you might have resisted arrest and you might have beat the case, it doesn't matter because in the system you're flagged as somebody who is known to be armed and dangerous, and that's permanent. That's there forever. So let's say you did something. Esau is going to put in your records that, all right, this person might have beat this case, but be advised when you pull them over because they're known to be armed and dangerous. So, you don't think that comes up in your portfolio? Absolutely. There's a portfolio. There is documents on us, man, where they know our information. They know what schools you went to. They know these things, right? But we got the Lord, so we got nothing to worry about. 2 Esdras 15 and 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, guns in their hands. People are going nuts right now, man. And truth be told, man, this is meant to happen, man. It's beautiful that we're living in this time. It is scary as well because, especially for brothers that might have families, elderly parents, or you live with your grandparents, you take care of them, you're scared of those. You're scared of what can happen to them. Well, you pray to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, just wanted to put that out there. But nonetheless, hey, the Lord's going to be with us, man. All right, when these things happen. And I bring this out, I promise, man. I bring this out like every week because it's a hot topic, man. We definitely sound like a broken record, but this is what's going on right now, man. Right now in Minnesota, things are lit, okay? And then you got the Egyptians against Egyptians, man. It's beautiful, right? It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, which is a civil uprising." And that's exactly what's going on right now, man. That's what you see. People are uprising. LA they've been in Los Angeles for about a year, I believe. Okay, doing raids, just picking people up. Probably legal people and illegal, right? But soon when they go into them, I believe that they might do that next. They're gonna do something in a red state, and that might spark it all up. Especially, I know me and the Sharia Goya was talking about it, how them ICE agents got popped out in Texas. And they kept it on the low. Maybe they just wasn't ready to lock it all down yet. But that actually happened. An ICE agent was shot and killed in Texas. And that happens all the time. People don't talk about it. ATF. People who deal with alcohol, tobacco, firearms, they get killed every day. They're dealing with people they're looking and trying to arrest people who are committing crimes that will land them in a federal prison for the rest of their life. They're not trying to go to prison. They will kill a federal agent before they go to prison. So these things happen every day. It's just Esau teasing us, man. He's teasing society right now. He wants the people to revolt so he can lock it down, right? It says, let me see. Yeah, it says they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and that's exactly what they want. After when this sedition happens, they want you to not regard them. They want you to not respect their authority, because that's going to give them the go to be like, all right, send in the troops. And within that, it's going to be civil war because you're going to have National Guard that will comply. You got the bootlicking lobbyists, as they call them, right? The don't tread on me Israelites, but they're, bootlickers, they're going to comply with the government. And you got the other half that's not. It's going to be civil war. It's going to be a mess out here, man. I mentioned it in another video. There's war cults out there right now. There's cults. There's groups of men that are ex-military that are a part of the rebel battalion. These men that are pro-America, right? And they're wicked. They're just Israelites that were probably wicked Israelites that were just warriors. The ones that are Israelites, but some are Edomites, right? Where their clans families and just men that are of no relation that believe in America and they believe that they have to fight against a tyrannical government, you know. Um, they're going to be out there, killing as well, right? They're going to be, and those are dangerous men. Those are men that have not only seen combat but have survived it. They're going to be out here pillaging and raping, and they're going to be killing, agents, and agents are going to be killing them, right? So they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. I mean, they're going to do whatever they want to do. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. That is martial law. That is a checkpoint, man. This is prophecy, man. This is beautiful. We're living in these times right now. At one point, this was just something that we were waiting for it to happen. At one point, we read this and said, "Man, when is this going to happen?" Now we're reading it in this regeneration, and we're living in it, and it's amazing. It's exciting. A little nerve-wracking, but it's also exciting because you've been doing the right thing, right? So worry about what are you worried about? It says, "A man, for because of their pride and the pride, because Salakia, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled." Yeah, that's why being in the big city during this time is the worst place to be. There's not enough food in the grocery stores for people to panic buy. I live in a big city, right? Well, it's not a big city, but I live in a very populated city, right? And whenever there's a hurricane or a snowstorm, any little thing that'll cause some panic, man, I have to go to the next city over or a few towns away to get my water and my TP because people here panic buy. And I live in an area with a lot of rich Edomites. They buy everything. They don't just they go crazy. They can afford to do that. Man, my Safeways are empty during hurricane season and during the snowstorm season. And so during that time, man, them cities is gonna be through. There's gonna be the most disease because people are on top of each other. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a mess. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Because when that martial law comes, yes, it's gonna be locked down, but for the most part, man, it's gonna be a lack of resources in that time, just because the Lord said so. It's gonna be crazy out here, man. you know. But hey, we're gonna be all right through the Spirit, man. Okay. Matter of fact, that leads me to my next point. Second Esdras 16 and 40. Then I'm gonna skip down to 70. Verse 40. I'm gonna skip down to verse 70. It says, "O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims." Right. So during that time, man, we're gonna have to be as pilgrims. Let's just quickly look up what the word pilgrim means for those that don't know. I guess I always say I intend to make these for people who are new, for brothers and sisters that are new to this thing. So I try to break down as simple as possible. But a pilgrim is a person who journeys to a sacred place for religious reasons. A member of the Pilgrim Fathers, Peregrino. Yeah, essentially, but you're basically just a person on a journey. That's really, that's also a pilgrim. Somebody who is, on a journey. And we're on a journey. We're on a religious journey, low key, bro. Not even low key, but, high key, man. Because we are, man. We're gonna be, going where the Spirit tells us to go. That's a godly journey right there, right? And to be even as pilgrims upon the earth. So we're gonna be on the move. Pilgrims are on the move, man. When you do your pilgrimage, right? We're gonna be on the move. So I'm gonna skip down to verse 70. But it said, "What? And even in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth." We're gonna just be on the move in that time, and the Lord is gonna guide us. Verse 70. "For there shall be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord." Because at the end of the day, this whole, as the Spirit, man, the Insurrection Act, right? This insurrection, this whole thing about insurrection is really upon the elect. That's who Esau wants to kill, is the Israelites, right? But the elect is going to be saved out of it, like I read in Jeremiah 30. It says, "They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord," because they're going to be killing Israelites left and right, right? "For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their house." This martial law. right? But here's the point. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire, right? The chosen, the elect, are going to be tried as gold in the fire because we're still going to, Lord's will, we're part of the elect. We're going to still have to go through trials and tribulations. We're still going to have to keep the faith if you're in a concentration camp or you're just straight up on the move and you took nothing with you. You got nothing with you. That's faith. You got to have faith that you're going to be okay in that time, right? It says, hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. So during that time, we have to believe the Lord is with us, right? It says, be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord, right? Because a lot of people like to say, well, what are we going to do? We're going to do just this. The Most High said He's going to be our guide. So we believe during that time, the angels are going to speak to us. The Spirit of the Lord is going to straight up just guide us. The Lord's going to take us by the hand, guide us to where we need to go. That's what we believe. It says, and the guide of them will keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord power. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. So we have to repent, and keep from sinning as much as we can, right? So that's what we got to do, man. We got to believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua that everything's going to be okay. All right. So, hey, real quick, that's all I wanted to bring out to the Spirit, man. I hope this was edifying and exhorting. All right. Hopefully, it was exhorting as well, man. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachak, Wadash, double honors, and to my elders and my apostles, great most so much other men that rule well and taught us truth. Peace, blessings, and salutations as always be to the elect. Shalom.